shelter where I can have mine.
Oh, hey. I guess, are we rolling?
We're rolling.
We're rolling. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Sunday Spinning Sunday, part of our FineIsh Hour podcast. I got Matt with me.
Hey.
And unfortunately, Mauricio could not be here. It is the holiday season, and he's with his family. But I know he would want us to do this.
Yes.
I know it. I know it.
I feel that. He's here in spirit.
He is, definitely. And he's here in the music we're going to talk about, too, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely. With me in particular.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's the end of the year. We're wrapping up 2018. So we thought we would just kind of talk about our favorite albums of the year and, some honorable mentions, some disappointments maybe.
Yep, I got one major disappointment. So.
Major disappointment. Sorry, How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
I knew you knew. I did the salute from How I Met Your Mother. All right. So where do we begin? How was your year, Matt? Let's just talk about that.
It was a good year.
Good year?
It's a good year. It's made better through doing this podcast. And Ryan's actually, we're at my house in St. Catharines. Yeah. This is the first time the pod will be done there.
Well, maybe. I think we'll
at
come
least
back.
Of our FineIsh Hour.
Right, yeah.
First time that it's happened under that umbrella. So that's pretty cool that we're here. But no, the year was good. It was great. A lot of changes. A lot of good changes.
It was a weird year.
A lot of weird changes in music too. I felt in terms of pop culture music and how that's given to us and how we stream everything and how it's so easy to just. We were talking about this yesterday that 5 years ago, literally when we first met, we used to exchange music through our laptop and put it on our iPods.
Oh my God! Hours of transferring gigs of music. Yeah. To laptop.
yeah, literally hours. And now we just, if somebody suggests a song, we just look it up instantly on Spotify or whatever service. If you have iTunes, Apple Music or whatever it is, it takes 2 seconds, or YouTube even, and you just have it. And
I know. I kind of miss those days because it made buying an album like really something.
Definitely. Especially if we bought, different albums or CD, we could burn it.
Yeah.
Actually burning CDs. Do people even know that anymore?
I know, right? Well, they don't even have CD players in the laptops anymore.
No, you don't.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Not even cars anymore. So
no.
Some cars. So that's weird.
That is weird.
That's weird. Yeah, the last time I bought a CD, I don't even remember.
I know.
I used to buy them to burn them.
Right. I think the last CDs we got were from Arcade Fire because we got a free CD with the concert ticket.
I was going to say Muse.
Muse, right?
Which we'll bring them up later.
Might as well, I don't know.
We can go right into that.
Yeah,
just start with the disappointment.
All right, right into the disappointment.
So, yes. So my probably my major disappointment of the year in music is with Muse's new album, Simulation Theory.
Yeah.
I love Muse.
Yes.
We saw them live twice, and the first time we saw them live, what was that, 2013? Everything was 2013.
Yes, everything was.
So we saw them General Mission front row, and that was awesome. Great show. They're great live. Love them. Love probably minus Showbiz. 3 years. Their first 4 albums, and then Second Law. Love Second Law. So, they really took a turn after, I would say, their last album with Drones, which was I learned to appreciate after we saw them.
Right, and more. I was wondering, would that happen the same with this album?
So with Simulation Theory, they try to kind of have that 80s cyberpunk kind of theme with their album cover in particular, which we'll show in our video component.
Yeah.
But like the pink and blue 80s kind of video game kind of style.
I think they were a little late to the punch on that one.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like this happened when Drive was out.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling movie. And that was 2010, I think.
Yeah.
And that was really popular around then. I still love that now. There's a game coming out hopefully soon called Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh.
That's actually that kind of, that pinks and blues and futuristic, but not too distant future kind of world, like Blade Runner-esque.
Right.
And I love that. That's like my favorite kind of theme and all that art style and everything I love about it. So I was kind of excited when it came out. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm down with that kind of vibe. A lot of synth, probably maybe some Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things.
Sounding.
That whole 80s music. Renaissance is like hitting now.
And I'm into that for sure. And I never thought I'd be, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. But with this album, they just kind of missed the mark.
Yeah.
So
see, like looking at the album cover, it looks like they just like watched Ready Player One and were like, let's make an album.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Okay, I'm still gonna listen to this album.
Yeah. Oh no.
Despite a lot of people saying,
I'm not saying it's like it is listenable.
Okay.
But nothing special about it. Put it that way. They still haven't gone back to Origin Symmetry, Absolution. Even Second Law if you want, and then I'm forgetting with Supermassive Black Hole what that album's called.
Black Holes and Revelations.
Black Holes and Revelations, right? Those three were their best probably, and they just haven't really hit those same notes for me. So
no, that's a shame.
Yeah.
So do you want to start off with maybe one of your top 10, maybe your 10th spot?
Well, okay, you know what? I'll start with my 10th because it's still one of my favorite artists. I put 10 the Bruce on Broadway that just recently came out.
Yeah.
It's not really there's no new music on it,
right? But
new stories in a very intimate way. If you guys can watch it on Netflix.
I only saw the trailer and it looks so good.
Pretty intimate. So if you like Bruce, then you'll love this. Even if you don't, it's just a good story, and he's a great storyteller anyway. So you'd enjoy it. I put that on there because it is great to listen to. It is like listening to kind of like a podcast of his life when it's through your headphones.
Oh, that's cool.
So he mixes in telling stories through his music, and it pretty much goes in order of the songs in release order.
Oh, yeah?
So he'll pick a song from like his first album and then talk about his early life. Then mid-career, there's a mid-career song and that kind of thing. And then his wife comes in for a few songs once they met, and that kind of changed everything too for him. So really cool. I guess that's one that I definitely want to make sure that, people know is out there, and Bruce fans especially will love it for sure.
Yeah.
That one's for the Bruce fans, but
actually you just needed a 10th spot, so you threw that there.
I did.
Yeah, what did I put for my 10th spot? I think this is on your list, but a little lower on yours, or higher, I guess. My 10th spot, I went with Courtney Burnett, Tell Me How You Really Feel.
Yeah, I had her at 9.
At 9? Oh, well, so there we go.
That was my next one, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember just like listening to like the singles as they like were coming out, and it brings me back to the beginning of the year. City looks pretty. I'm trying to think of what's on there.
I know. That's what I was just going to look up too, because I forget when I'm not good with titles.
Yeah, right.
Horrible with titles, especially when you're just listening to the whole album straight. Yeah, let's see.
I like that one punk song.
I like how it opens. I like that hopeful.
Yes, the hopeful.
Yeah.
Charity's great. Oh, my favorite is probably Need a Little Time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But I like the punk song, I'm Not Your Mother, I'm Not Your Bitch. Yeah, it's just a quick little...
I think she did that on one of the late night shows, or maybe it was just a live for like BBC or something. She did that one, and that's where I was like, that's pretty cool. I liked her from her first album too. I don't necessarily think this one's better for me, but just because that one was so new, and I love her sarcasm.
Sometimes I sit and think.
Quirkiness.
Sometimes I just sit.
Yep. You got it. Yep. And that would have been, I guess
2014.
14, yeah, 2014, 15, yeah.
Yeah, around there.
Yep, 2015. So
okay, 15.
Yeah.
Actually, that I would say that's a disappointment of the year. She came to Toronto and played 2 nights in a row, and I didn't go see her.
Yeah, I didn't even. I
looked at it. I was just money. That happens.
Oh, well, there's too many. There's too many concerts to go to go to all of them. Yeah.
Don't have too much lined up for the new year yet, but
no,
I know it'll snowball. But really, I have no money right now, so it's okay. Okay, so that was your number 9 spot. So I guess it's back to me.
Yep. Do know. Yeah, let's go.
My number 9 spot is Jeff Tweedy's Warm. This one just came out.
Wilco's Jeff Tweedy.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I listened to it, because of you and like our connection to Wilco.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw Wilco open for My Morning Jacket and Bob Dylan.
Yep, I think
Americana tour.
The Americana, Americana Rama or whatever.
They're really good live, and like I got into Wilco after that concert, and so when I saw Jeff Tweedy had a new album, I was actually curious, and I really like it. It's very mellow, and I think you will love it.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. I didn't get into Wilco as much as you did after that show. You were already more into My Morning Jacket, but that really set me off into listening to them more. And we're still waiting for them. I guess, you know what? Actually, that might come up with an honorable mention, Jim James album. But
I didn't listen to it, so I can't
I
mention
did listen to it, but I feel weird listening to when solo leads of solo or what am I trying to say? Leads of bands go solo. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like, well, just go with the band that I already like, you know.
Right.
But I know they're trying to do their own thing, but
if there's a different artistic direction, because like I know a band, they all have to have a say. Like I know there's a leading man, but it's a band. So if you're clashing artistically, then sure, go do a solo album.
Yeah, I like it when it does actually sound different from what their work is. If it just sounds similar, then I'm just like, well, you just got a couple session guys or a couple buddies to play on the session.
This just reminds me, which I don't think it made the list, but it is one of my favorite albums. Void's new album.
So you know what? I didn't put it on there either because I just haven't gotten into it enough. I listened to it just once through, and I like the singles and.
But that's like totally different from the Strokes.
It is,
and like that's why I'm like that's so cool. Virtue.
Yeah,
right.
You know what? I think I just forgot about that on my list, but if it's not in the top 10, it's like 11 for me because of. I love the Strokes and love Julian Casablancas anyway. But I do have another member of the Strokes on my list. Coming up. It's pretty high on the list.
Okay. Well, then we'll get back to that.
I was going to say another band that we both have on our list is Gorillaz, the Now Now. I
is
have
this
them at
your
8.
number 8? Okay. This one did not make my top 10.
Oh, okay. But, so it's an honorable mention for you.
So it's an honorable mention.
All right. For me, the Gorillaz, like them, obviously, Feel Good Inc. and all that early stuff and
those Demon Days.
Yeah, exactly. All great. Didn't really care for that last album that they had, Humans, just last year, right? It was just 2017, I'm pretty sure. But that one was more like collabs and that kind of thing. But and this album, the Now really kind of gets back to that those early days for me, and kind of has more of a what do I want to say, like Tame Impala kind of psychedelic feel for me on a lot of the songs. Summery feel, obviously, with the singles. So. Really enjoyed it.
Very mellow.
Always can listen to them. Never really had a problem with the Gorillaz. They're just kind of like they're good, and that's it.
Are you a big Blur fan?
No, not really. No. I mean, I don't know them well enough, like album wise, but
I can't say. I know like a few singles, but that's about it.
We were kind of born in the middle of that, so for me, I didn't like grow up necessarily in that grunge period when they were facing Nirvana every. Right. And Oasis was kind of in there too. I never really felt that same connection with those kind of bands. But Gorillaz I did because that was when I was like, they were kind of out, I guess when I was like 10, 11, 12 kind of thing. And that's where, I formed a lot of the new music that I was going to listen to. So I was thinking about them, and their videos obviously kind of got me into them too. When
they're really cool.
Much and MTV actually played videos, those were cool. So.
All right. What about you? So I guess that was your 8?
Yep. So you got to go 8
the next
as well,
one
right?
On so mine is my God's Favorite Customer by Father John Misty.
That would have been an honorable mention for me, but mostly because of you getting me into him. So you got to see him too.
I did. Yeah. I saw him last year for his Pure Comedy tour, and then I got to see him this year for God's Favorite Customer. And Pure Comedy was one of my favorite albums, of last year. And this one was a top one, but it didn't crack the top 5. But still a really good.
Better.
It's the album of his discography.
Right.
He put so much into that one.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit more of an accessible album for like maybe new time fans. It was shorter, more condensed, just to the point. So I would say this is a pretty good jumping off point if you want to get into Father John Misty. And then just look forward to Pure Comedy because that is his opus.
Yep. You got me into that. And I hadn't really liked what I heard before. I'm Fleet Foxes fan.
Yes.
And, so he kind of has that similar voice, that you can tell that there was a part of that harmony.
Yeah.
And I always, we'll probably always look at his stuff no matter what, just because of that alone. So,
which is funny because like I loved Fleet Foxes' last album, Crack Up, more than the time he was with them.
Me too.
So,
yeah, no, that's definitely true.
Did you see they released like a box set of like early Fleet Foxes?
Oh, you know what? I just looked them up because I wanted to make sure it was 2017 for Crack Up.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I listened to that one day, and it was so good.
Okay,
There's some deep cuts in
that'll
there.
be the rest of my day.
Yep.
But anyway.
Fleet Foxing it up.
So, okay, so that was your 8, right?
That was my 8.
So I'll go 7. We can kind of pick it up because I want to make sure we get to the top ones.
Yes.
But maybe I'll just maybe I'll do a couple. Maybe I'll do 2 at a time. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
So with 7, there's a band called Parcels, which my girlfriend Jess got me into, who made an appearance on. She's here now, but she's somewhere. So the band's called Parcels. It's self-titled debut full-length album.
Oh, cool.
Really like them. They remind me of Steely Dan a lot. Kind of not disco-y, but like just a really easy sounding kind of yacht rock kind of feel. They kind of sprung out of the movement when Daft Punk released Random Access Memories.
Okay.
Similar sounds to a few of the songs on there. They actually did a song with Daft Punk.
Wow,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, so that's where they kind of built their fame, and they've really kind of gone from there. So it's kind of that, I guess, disco-y kind of easy listening, if that makes any sense. A lot of Nile Rodgers kind of riffs, like the guy who does Let's Dance.
Okay.
That kind of guitar riff. And just really easy to listen to, and they're coming to Toronto in a couple months, and
yeah, and you're going to see it.
We'll be there, so
that's so
right
cool.
down the street from where you live, so at Lee's Palace. So
I know.
I'm excited for
I think
them.
you invited me a long time ago, but I never listened to them.
Still time. They're
still time.
Yeah, and they're just.
Am I still invited?
You'll like them. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
if it's at Lee's Palace.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, if it's like a $20 ticket, I'd just go.
I think that's all they are. Yeah, they're very they're pretty new, and that's also why I want to see them too. So
nice.
Okay, so that was my
7,
and then 6. I'll go with this was for Mauricio, but I most recent that I've been listened to as early as yesterday. They are from Mexico, right? Mexican band, I believe
so.
they are. Okay, if I get that wrong, Mauricio can correct me. But a band called Zoe. Or Zoe, or however you want to say it. And then their album Astland, probably horrible too.
Assland?
Yeah, Astland.
Oh, yes,
Aslan.
Aslan. Mauricio, where are you?
I know, we need him for that.
Help.
He'll be laughing at that. But
Oh, yeah.
been around for a while. This band, kind of looked into him, like I said, pretty recently, just over the last week. Mauricio, is getting us to get into them, and
Yeah.
I'm glad he has. Remind me of kind of like a Metric but Metric meets Future Islands meets that 80s kind of synth sound.
Cool.
Kind of synth pop rock, I guess. And really love them. Don't understand a word they're saying, but I'm more about the music anyway, and
Yeah.
the music's great. So
He also told me to listen to them. I haven't listened to the whole album. I know a few songs just from like their top songs, but that's about it.
Yep.
But I think let's take this opportunity to confirm that Mauricio, we're gonna go see this band with you. Okay?
Yes, we will. We
We
will. Be
will.
going. We decided. That,
We decided.
and now that I love them even more over just a week of listening to them. So
We'll be there with you there.
we will be there.
All right.
Okay, so you go. We
Okay.
got 7 and 6.
I got 7 and 6 for me.
Mhm.
So my 7 is I kind of did this on purpose. Is 7 from Beach House. So
you saw them this year?
I did see them for the first time, and great art performance. It's just I already talked about this on the channel, but yeah, it was just a silhouette kind of concert where you just kind of see their shadows, and it's very immersive that way. It makes you really
I've never
think.
seen anything like that, so
Yeah.
I wish I would have been there to see that.
Well,
That's cool.
if you go to the Sony Performing Arts Center, like a lot of those concerts are a little bit more just like it's about performing.
Yeah, the
arts.
performance. Yeah.
So
And I went there for the first time to see the YouTubers Rhett and Link with Jessica. And I really like the theater itself. So
Yeah, it's nice.
The sound quality was good. I can't wait to see a band there.
yeah. So yeah, it's just more Beach House, which is awesome. So just check that out. It's great. At number 6, I had Cocoa Sugar, which is by Young Fathers. Let me just pull up the album cover because I think it's very interesting album cover. The hit song off the album is "In My View." Great track. That's what like pretty much got me into it. A friend from an ex-coworker got me into the band, and it's a fast album. It's like under 30 minutes, and it's just it's really just hard. Like
what style of is it?
It's I don't know. I think it's a 3-piece. Both you got Caucasian and African American in there, which I like how they have like a kind of a blend. I don't know how to describe them. It's like art, hip hop.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at describing genres.
Well, some are just hard to describe.
Right. It's hard to pinpoint and figure it out.
Yeah, and that's good. That's probably what they want too.
Yeah, it goes a little wacky, which I love. It just goes out there. They did a song called "Only God Knows," which was made for Train Spotting 2.
Oh yeah,
I think that was on that soundtrack. That was the song that I first heard from them, and then this album hit early on in the year too. So it was my first top album of the year. But yeah,
okay, all right. Well, I'll
definitely check that out. Yeah. Okay, I think we're into the top 5s now.
Top 5. Did you do? Wait, that was 6 for you?
That was 6.
Okay, all right. So top 5s here. Okay, so I talked about this on a previous Sunday Spinning Sunday. So Paul McCartney's Egypt Station.
Okay.
So kind of touched on it. So I'll make this one quick. Love that Paul's still making music. This is probably his best album in a while for me.
Yeah. Like I love New. Like that was his album.
I like New, but I think this is a lot. I think Egypt Station is a lot better. Concept album in a lot of ways. Kind of opens up with some short clips and different. Like you feel like you're at a train station, that kind of deal, and kind of in motion as you're going through the album. The voice still strong. This is probably his best album for me since 2006's Memory Almost Full, which is maybe one of my all-time favorite solo Paul albums. And so it's been a while for me where I really got into an album like this from him. As fully as I did. So give it a listen. Beatles fans will love it.
I can't
it sounds
believe
like a Beatles
I
album.
haven't listened to it because you brought it up so long ago, and it's been around.
It's worth a listen, and it's a good one to just kind of have on too. Good driving album, that kind of thing, because you're supposed to be kind of feeling like you're going somewhere when you're on the album. So
it's a perfect transit song.
Definitely.
Great.
100%.
I'm going to listen to it on
passed the bus test.
I'm going to do the bus thing today.
100%. So that's 5. And then 4, and I know Ryan has this on his list, and I think I told you about him, right?
Yeah.
Or did you?
This one didn't make my top.
Oh, it didn't? Oh, okay.
Because I knew you were going to talk about it. I'm like, you know what? And like it's too fresh for me that like I think we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah. We're talking about Anderson .Paak's Oxnard.
Oxnard.
Kind of a, I guess, hip-hop, R&B, rap fusion, I guess, because it's got a lot of people featured on the album.
Yeah.
And
got Kendrick on the song called Tints.
Which is, he did that on SNL, which is where I saw him for the first time. And the song, he's on drums, playing drums, and then Kendrick, just comes out and does his part of the song. Super cool. Love the way he performed. Really interactive. Kind of reminded me when he was on drums and then like stepped away from the drums. Kind of like Bruno Mars, kind of jack of all trades. He's also coming to Toronto on the same day as this Parcels, so that'll be interesting. Of course, they're on the same day, which they're like even one day apart. Because we'd probably go to both.
Yeah, because then you could have stayed over. And
exactly, but
double feature it.
But this is a guy I think will be around for a long time.
Yeah,
it seems like he's kind of in that Gambino mold. If I know nobody wants to really be boxed in like that, but I think about him the same kind of way. It seems like he's really into the making good, just solid music on top of getting out a message. So Anderson .Paak, Oxnard, honorable mention for Ryan, probably close for him, and definitely must listen for me. I think probably, and
very
enjoyable. This is not a genre that I should have opened with that. Not really a person or a genre that I normally listen to or that I know a lot about. So when I put him that high, I consider that even more important for me, because it's like, even somebody got me into a genre completely.
This is just the beginning for you.
Yeah, I know. And we talked about a little bit about yesterday. I need to listen to guys like him, Gambino, probably Kendrick himself even more, and a guy like Frank Ocean, who's not quite the same, but
Just because we're kind of like in this topic, I'm going to mention another honorable mention, DiCaprio 2 by JID, another rap album that you should check out. It's very, very interesting. Yeah. I think it's kind of funny. This guy considers himself like the Leonardo DiCaprio of rap.
Okay.
And so
he just said DiCaprio too. It's like a tongue in cheek.
And so he's like, oh, he just got an Oscar, and I pretty much just got like an Oscar. Like, I don't know. Right. He's kind of full of himself in that way, but you need that. You need that to be great. The best. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you want to be great.
You have to have the ego to
100%. Yep. That's funny. I like that. DiCaprio too.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like some,
yeah.
Just joking around, but okay, yeah. All right, so that was my 4. So you got 5 and 4 coming. So.
Oh, you did too. Yeah.
I did too.
Oh, wow.
I did too.
Okay, another rap album. Kids See Ghosts Sometimes. Or Kids See Ghosts by Kids See Ghosts.
Self-titled.
Self-titled. So this is a side project from Kanye West and Kid Cudi. And it's a 23-minute album.
Is this one of those ones that he produced like an album?
He did like 3 in a month.
Week? Yeah. Okay.
So it was Pusha T's Daytona, Kanye West, Yay, and then this one.
Okay.
And this one is the best out of all of them. I will give an honorable mention to Yay and Daytona, but no, this album is fantastic. And I know this makes Mauricio's top list too. This, I don't know. I can't say. Might be his favorite album of the year. We love it. It's a really good album.
I haven't listened to it at all. So
yes. Well, this is definitely.
And you said 23 minute? Like it's just
it's just like a quick banger.
Okay, Kid Cudi. Okay.
Kanye West. Okay, so my number 4, which is your number 3. Okay. So this
all right.
Kind of goes together.
Okay, great.
Is MGMT's My Little Dark Age.
Perfect. I'm glad that it's close. And Ryan got me onto this album when we were in Montreal.
In Montreal, yes.
Yeah, together with Mauricio and Jess. So, yeah, you go ahead.
Huge MGMT fan. I loved Congratulations, even though a lot of people didn't.
I didn't.
This album, it's like their resurrection. I didn't quite like their third album, self-titled MGMT. Little out there, but this one has an amazing concept.
Yes,
very quirky, great synth pop.
Yes,
all around just great album. Great singles. When You Die became Mauricio and I's like favorite like anthem at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
we would just be like saying like
I know
all the time.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah, so.
I wanted to listen to that just all on our way home from Montreal.
Yeah.
I think I requested a few times because I'm just like, I don't know why I love the bitterness and just the sarcasm or not sarcasm. And I think the whole first half of the album is some of my favorite all time, music from them, in particular, but just from that genre, that synth pop. Love the whole first half. Second half there really is 2 halves to the album. I found. I haven't really liked MGMT since was that 2008? Was it? Yeah, Kids, wow. Right?
I think it was before 2007.
Is it 7? Anyway, over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Either way. And I kind of got away from them because I didn't really like the album that Ryan mentioned and kind of lost touch with them. And this album for me is really close and deserving of 4 and 3 on our list for sure.
Yeah. One that kind of opened the year for me. This was sitting at top spot for a while, but it got bumped.
Yeah, so that's 4, and then 3 for me is the MGMT as well.
Okay.
My number 2, to bring back to members of a band doing their solo project, Albert Hammond Jr.'s Francis Trouble. Albert Hammond Jr. is a guitar player, one of the co-leads in The Strokes.
Okay.
The guy with like the fro.
Yeah.
His father was a famous musician too, Albert Hammond. So he kind of grew up around the music industry and then obviously had huge success with The Strokes. This is his, I think this is the 3rd or 4th solo album that he's done.
Really?
But for me, this is the first one that I got made aware of his solo projects. I love it. He sings on the album. He doesn't actually play guitar on the album at all. Oh. He has his guys play it in his band. Really upset that I missed out on him. Seeing him in Toronto probably almost a year ago now. It was January, I believe, 2018. So just kind of a fun album. I'm trying to describe it in a way. He kind of has that, I guess it's kind of a theme with us this year in particular. It is kind of like an 80s sounding album, but you can still see those guitar riffs from like the Strokes, or more of like a poppy band.
How similar to the Strokes is it?
I mean, his voice is completely different.
Right,
you know, there's really only one Julian Casablancas, which is why, you know, we love the Strokes so much, part of it. And with him, it's more of a, I can't even he definitely has a distinct voice. It's not as strong necessarily as Julian. He doesn't have the range like that.
Okay.
Because few do. But it's just a really, I want to say just solid like rock pop album. Every song on it is listenable, similar to the Strokes. Like there's no song where you're like, oh, this is really droning or too long or too whatever. Every song is enjoyable. I played a little bit. Actually, we listened to it on our way home from Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So long ago.
So
I don't remember.
Yeah. I played a few songs then. That probably took up most of the beginning of the year for me. This album, great to walk around to. Bus album, again, good to have on. Just as easy listening to. You don't have to focus too much on lyrically, but he has a lot of lyrics that are, touch on like sexual lyrics, a lot of innuendos, that kind of thing. That he does it in a fun way, and I'm really glad that he's doing his thing here. And I think he's had a lot of struggles with like drugs in the past, and I think he's gotten out of that. So just good to see him kind of doing his own thing now too.
Wow.
So
at your number 2 spot, man.
Number 2.
I gotta listen to that one.
Yeah, number 2. It was either that or MGMT for me. Maybe Oxnard too, but I listened to him more than probably any of the albums on my list. I listened to that album the most, so I had to put him that high. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're back to my number 3.
Right.
So this one is called FM. This is by Vince Staples, so another rapper, one of my favorites. Another short album.
I've heard that needs to happen.
You really need to listen to this guy.
Yeah.
This one, very short album. It has that radio theme kind of thing. So, someone's kind of like listening to the radio and like.
Okay, changing channels, like flipping through.
Kind of, a little bit of that.
Okay.
But yeah, very short, hard hitting.
So does each song sound like different then? Is it like you're skipping through the radio or no?
No, it some of them blend together that it just sounds like one kind of song, but like it just has moments. Like there's the funny moment at the end where this guy calls in and he has 7 seconds to name 7 celebrities that start with the letter V.
Oh, okay.
And all he can think of is Vanessa Williams.
Yeah.
And that's all you can think of.
Yep.
And they just kind of like make fun of him, saying like, "Oh man, you must be tweaking." And then it starts the next song called Tweaking.
All right.
I don't know. It's just
that's cool. I love when
it's just so fun.
Like little things.
But it's his raps are amazing.
And he's fairly new, right? He's not, or has he been around?
Yeah, this is his 3rd full length album. He has a few EPs as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we missed him at Oshiega. He was playing at the same time as Chili Peppers, and we mentioned that before.
Right.
So I wish I could have seen him, but yeah, he's also he's been on the Black Panther soundtrack with Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
He's got the song Ops.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he's done a few collabs with Kendrick.
He's had a big year. I feel like I've always heard I've heard his name a lot more than any of the other hip hop artists that we mentioned today.
Yeah. Okay. Going into my number 2 spot, U.S. Girls in a Poem Unlimited.
Ooh, number 2 went with them. Okay. You saw them a few times this year.
I saw them twice this year. And the first time was a free concert at Yonge and Dundas, and that made me just really fall in love with the album. I loved it before, but just seeing the performance, I was like, oh, man, she's so good. And, I think because I saw her again, the album just climbed its way up to number 2.
And we I had listened to them maybe a couple weeks before you guys saw that free concert.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember it was you or Mauricio who said like, oh, we're seeing you. You posted a picture of them. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious because I just listened to like one of the singles off the newest album. Then.
Yeah.
And to me, and we were talking about it again today, that it just sounds like better Madonna.
Yes.
Like good, like
modern Madonna.
Like modern,
yeah.
Like rocky Madonna, right? In a good way. And I mean that as a compliment. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah, great art pop here.
Definitely have to see them next time they come around.
Yeah, a lot of genres kind of melding in this record.
Is it all female group or no? Is it just her?
When she performs, she's the lead, and her whole band's male.
Oh, it is okay,
hilarious,
great,
which is great.
Good.
So yeah.
So U.S. girls, but just her.
Exactly.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
Cool. Love that.
Really cool.
Okay. So
all right. So we're down to number one spot.
Number one spot. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I don't know. What do you got?
Well, mine is so my number one album of the year.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt, is "Look Now" by Elvis Costello and the Imposters. Love Elvis Costello.
Love that cover.
Yeah, cover's really cool. Kind of split cover with half of it "Look Now" and like an artsy kind of woman, but it's kind of blurred. Love Elvis Costello. This album really reminds me of his days with the Attractions, which is pretty much the Imposters today, most of the same members. The album this year, next year, or now I'm afraid if it's this year's model or next year's model. But I always forget the names of albums when I need them. But this is by far my number one, just because I saw him live, like I see most people when they're on like a late night show or on like a daytime show or something like that. And with him, I just happened to watch the show that he was on, and it really just kind of struck me as like, oh wow, he really didn't sound like he had aged. You know, he had some health issues that got blown out of proportion, and he was the first one to say like it wasn't as dire as people made it out to be.
Right.
People,
everyone wants to blow it up.
Yeah, he had a very but not he had a cancerous issue, but it was way blown out of proportion, and he's fine, and he healed, and he's totally fine. So, but that kind of always worries me too, when an artist that I really like is going through something like that, or I thought was going through a tougher time. I'm like, oh, I really need to get into them and kind of appreciate them when I can,
while they're here.
Yeah, exactly. And so with this album, with "Look Now," and first of all, I just love the title of it, because it's what I kind of themed any of the new albums that I'm listening to. I think I talked about on the playlist episode where I called it "Look Now," just because it's great for the year in itself. And it does remind me of, it's called This Year's Model was the album with the Attraction. So it's very similar to that. Wouldn't even tell, other than a little bit of shakiness in his voice, his age, but it sounds fresh. It sounds very much like a solo Paul McCartney album too, and they worked together. I was telling Ryan yesterday on an album together years ago, Flowers in the Dirt, which Paul actually just released a re-release of that, and it sounds similar to that sort of theme too. That's a great album if people want to listen to that too. But yeah, it's by far my number one, just because I love the way he like Springsteen has just verse after verse after verse, with like a catchy hook, chorus, but the words are so quick, they come flying at you, that it's more like poetry than just like a rock song. So
cool.
With him, he does it probably maybe better than anybody. Very Dylan-esque in that way. Dylan, Bruce, him, kind of throw them into a hat in terms of their lyrics. And
wow.
So, and he does it on purpose. He specifically wants to get as much allusions in his songs as he can. So, and he does that on this album. I think it's great. I think I know it's his best solo maybe since something in the mid '80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were playing a little bit last night, and it was sounding good. Once again, haven't heard it. So
yeah, again, not obviously commercially. If you're not a fan of Costello, you probably wouldn't even know he had a new album.
Yeah, I had no idea until you brought it up.
Right. So I definitely encourage you to listen to it. My albums that I like really do have like a theme in a lot of ways, but they're with this album, it is easy to listen to, but it's deep and on a lot of levels. And it's just solid all the way through. Like there's no weak point in the album or a drop off. And I like an album to kind of ebb and flow, but this one really just stays consistent, and that's why it's number one.
Nice. Great top 10, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I got my number one spot. Twin Fantasy car seat headrest.
Yeah.
Saw them. Saw them too. Once again, I think that's,
with Mauricio.
Yes, with Mauricio. I think that's why albums tend to be my favorite, is because you see them live,
especially on like the ground floor with a band like that, right?
Yeah.
This was their first like full length album?
No.
No.
They have okay. So this guy, I can't. Man, I should know.
I knew it wasn't, but it's
This guy, he's been like an internet kind of thing, like kind of like a MySpace. Like he released music like on the internet and had like a big following that way.
Oh, so kind of like a Mac DeMarco kind of deal. You know, he kind of had that as well. So
and then he got picked up by a label, and then he produced a few albums. I think this one is his second album that was actually produced with a studio. This is actually a remake of 2011, I believe, demo of the same album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fans already knew this album.
Will Toledo. Sorry.
Will Toledo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Will Toledo.
So I actually own the demo. I got it on Record Store Day.
Right. Right.
This album, it just reminds me of my transition time in my life where I moved cities and I was getting ready for the next chapter of my life. Mm-hmm. And so it just hit a lot of personal points. It's a great concept album. It has one song on it, Beach Life and Death. It's a 13-minute.
That's the song I was going to ask about. That again, Montreal trip. We yes. kind of that's funny. We listened to a lot of different stuff of that.
Yeah, we did,
which is good. But yeah, I haven't gotten into him yet myself. But that song was epic. It was like it was an epic.
That's a great sample of what the whole album's all about.
Okay.
A lot of those some verses from that song are resurrected throughout the album. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't know. It's just so well done. I could listen to that anytime, and that's why it's my number one.
And it was like a younger crowd there, right?
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah. He's young himself,
right?
And the whole crowd was young.
But I said that's a good hope,
Yeah.
If they're listening to good music, I'm glad it was young people there,
Yeah.
There's not many hopes out there.
And just throw back to one of our old podcast conversations. This was the concert that resurrected Sunday Spinning Sunday because we had a fan at this concert.
Oh, that was the Carsey Headbands. Okay, yeah.
Who recognized us.
Yeah.
And that was a weird moment.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But really cool.
That's why we're here today.
Yeah. That's my top.
Yeah, I can't wait to go through some of those. I really do need to bring more new music into my life because I get stuck listening to my same bands and just learning new things from old bands that I already love. Yeah. So new music sometimes I always miss out on. So
that's why I like this time of year, just to find other people's top 10s. It's just a good starting point.
I definitely need to do that. But you've always been more into finding the new thing, and I think I still need to be more open-minded with that. So
all right, well, I think that wraps it up. Thanks for listening, everyone out there. This is our FineIsh Hour, Sunday Spinning Sunday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, iTunes, and all that stuff.
And please make sure to post your top 10 or just a few albums. We always are open to new music, and we want to know
what you're digging. Are you digging what we're digging?
Yeah. And if not, we want to know that too. If you completely disagree, or we're missing the boat completely.
Was Muse actually the best album of the year?
No, if anybody thinks that, don't comment that. So yeah, please make sure to follow us, and we'll try and get back on track with a more regular schedule when we can. And
it's tough with the holidays and family. I know Mauricio will be right back here come the new year.
Yep, sounds good. Yeah,
can't wait. It's gonna be a good year. Yeah. All right. See you later,
Bye.
guys. Keep on spinning.